That's right. Did you check out the Intro to 2013 Modules and Forms video? Not to worry. We've created another segment for you that will help you be able to describe the steps involved in preceptor form completion, complete a form accurately, and explain the procedure for the timely submission of forms. There are several sections on the new forms that contain information on how to use the updated modules and forms. The name of the module, such as Management, shown here, can be found at the top right-hand corner. The introductory page contains instructions for the intern, preceptor, and any other relevant parties involved in each placement. The overview or purpose of the module is also provided on the first page of the form. When you receive a form from an intern, a process we will go over later in this segment, be sure to double-check that the intern has sent the appropriate form. Interns will fill out a new form for each placement. The second page of the module-specific forms provides instructions for an intern evaluation, including the new performance assessment guide and criteria. There are several sections of each form that need to be completed by the preceptor, intern, or both. We'll walk you through these sections before we show you how to fill them out. On page 3, under Module Activities and Performance Assessment, you will find the evaluation portion of the document. The performance objectives are listed on the left-hand side, with the required learning activities below. This section of the form also contains the intern and preceptor assessment boxes. You'll notice that the learning activities under Communication, Collaboration, and Professional Practice don't have the checkboxes provided that the previous learning activities had. This is because they are expected to be displayed continuously throughout internship rather than checked off and completed. The section titled Assessment of Successful Completion of Placement outlines the requirements to successfully complete a placement and provides opportunities for evaluation. This is followed by the Placement Completion Checklist, which has areas that must be filled out by the intern and the preceptor. The checklist is followed by the intern goal setting sheet, which provides the intern with an opportunity to reflect on their learning and set goals for future development. The last page of the module-specific forms contains the Internship Coordinator Checklist, which will be completed by the core site Internship Coordinator after the form has been saved and submitted by the preceptor. We'll now walk through the new process for completing and submitting forms from start to finish. The process starts with the intern checking off completed learning activities and completing a self-evaluation related to each performance objective throughout the placement. The intern is then responsible for sending the form with their section completed to the preceptor 2 to 3 days prior to the end of the placement. When the preceptor receives the form from the intern, they are responsible for filling out the preceptor evaluation component and adding any necessary comments. The completed form should be used to guide the in-person evaluation on the last day of the placement. The preceptor is responsible for saving the completed form according to the instructions found on the first page. They must then email a copy of the form to the core site internship coordinator and CC the intern. There are a few functions you need to be familiar with in Word before you fill out the forms. If you would like a larger or smaller view of the form, use the zoom function located in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen to zoom in or out. To fill out the preceptor assessment section for each performance objective, click on the box labeled Preceptor. Choose the appropriate evaluation based on the performance assessment guide on page 2 of the forms. To fill in the comment section, simply click on the box beside Comment and start typing. Remember, it is not necessary to comment on every single performance objective. To check a box on the Placement Completion Checklist, simply click on the box. Remember that some parts of the form, such as the checkboxes for tracking learning activities, should be completed by the intern. The preceptor is only responsible for the preceptor assessment and comments, assessment of successful completion of placement, and spots indicated on the placement completion checklist. When you receive the form from the intern, it should look something like this. All of the intern assessment boxes should be filled in, completed learning activities should be checked off, goal setting sheet filled out, and relevant boxes on the placement completion checklist filled out. Completing the preceptor portion of the form should typically take between 30 and 60 minutes due to the point-and-click nature of the forms. Keep in mind this time may vary somewhat depending on the placement and the amount of comments needed. This time estimate does not include the time required for taking informal notes during the placement. Instructions for saving the document properly can be found under the Preceptor Instructions heading on the first page of the form. The preceptor is responsible for submitting the forms to the Core Site Internship Coordinator after the evaluations are complete. Completed forms will be submitted via email to the Core Site Internship Coordinator with the intern CC'd. To save the document, click File, Save As, and title the document Module Name, so for this example, Management, .intern last name, .day, month, year. If you are not sure who your Core Site Internship Coordinator is, or if you do not have their contact information, clarify this with your intern. In summary, specific instructions for filling in the form can be found on the introductory page. Interns are responsible for tracking their learning activities throughout a placement and sending their form to the preceptor 2 to 3 days before the last day of a placement. Preceptors are responsible for assessing the intern performance by selecting the corresponding category, good, satisfactory, or unsatisfactory, for each performance objective. Comments are not necessary for every performance objective. Only include comments for key clarifications. Preceptors can use their completed form to guide the in-person final evaluation with the intern, which should typically last 30 to 60 minutes. Preceptors should save the completed form according to the instructions on the first page of the form. Preceptors then email the completed form to the Core Site Internship Coordinator and CC the intern. We would like to extend a special thanks to the UBC Teaching and Learning Enhancement Fund for the funds contributed to the production of this video. For more information, please visit the dietetics website at dietetics.landfood.ubc.ca.